Hey, robot fans. So I am working on Chopper's third leg in the 232 conversion, and I came up with an interesting issue. I'm getting ready to print the main wheel, and I want to print it out of flex material, so it's like a true tire. My slicer says that this is going to take a pound of filament. Now, I have some NinjaFlex Semiflex Black here, which I've been using all along, and I don't think I have a full pound of it left on this roll. I did, however, acquire 3 rolls of this Excelfill Tech Flex material from Voltivo right before they went out of business. So I definitely have enough to print the wheel. The problem is that it is like a clearish white, and obviously we need the wheel to be dark grayish black. So I think the point of this video is going to be, can we dye TPU or color it in a way that'll work? Okay, so the first thing I did was print it in one piece, and as you can see, the top half of it came out pretty good, the part that was facing away from the bed, but the part that was resting on the bed, so if it printed like this, the bottom half here came out pretty gnarly. So I decided, since the top half came out so good, I would print it in 2 pieces, which I did. And the 2 pieces themselves came out pretty good. The treads look really nice on it. But when I put them together, of course, they bowed away from each other, just as I kind of figured they would. This one, I don't think I'm going to be able to use the full piece, but these 2, I think with some heat and a little bit of elbow grease, I can get this to work pretty well. And then we have a tester piece to test everything out on before we do anything with what will become our final wheel. I heated up my bed pretty hot and placed the 2 halves face down to try to soften up those center areas that curved a bit. I clamped them together to try to squeeze them as much as I can. Luckily, I printed these with some recesses for some steel dowels. I then put them together and slowly started gluing them and clamping them together until both halves came together. I changed my soldering tip to this beveled scalpel look, and I used this to kind of weld the 2 sides together, just heated it enough to melt both sides as I passed through, and hopefully melted everything together to create a nice seal. Okay, so let's try to dye this stuff. I got this RIT Dye More synthetic stuff. It's supposed to dye polyester, nylon, and acrylic really well, so hopefully our tire fits somewhere in that range. I'm going to keep it just below boiling, and it says it could do most stuff in a half an hour, some stuff in an hour, using half of this bottle. So I'm going to use a little bit more than half of this bottle and just go for as long as I need to on each side. I think the pot's kind of big enough for the whole thing, but it floats, so I'm gonna have to do it in 2 halves. I've already done the test tire here. I used less than half the bottle. It came out a little purpley, so I'm hoping by using more dye I can get the dye a little bit more intense. So this side here was done for about an hour, and then this side here was about 15 to 20 minutes. So you can see the difference here. I am a little concerned about the joint in the middle with the glue. I don't know how that's going to handle near boiling water for a couple hours. Guess I should have dyed each half and then glued it together, but alright, we'll see what happens with this. Okay, here's our results. Here is the tester that we did, and then this was the final one that we did. It came out much darker. It's much more black looking. It's a little purpley, very little bit, but you would never even notice it if I didn't tell you. The problem is, as I'm sure you can see with great detail, is the boiling water opened up this seam a little bit and kind of created a bit of a disaster. Otherwise, it would have been awesome. I think it looks really good. If I could have got this one piece to print really well, I think dyeing it would have worked really well. I'm going to see if I can go in and fix this a little bit, but I think the point of this video was to check out if we could dye this flexible material, and the answer, I think, is yes. I think you can dye it pretty well and get a nice looking tire out of a white or clear transparent flex material.